Hello, welcome to Intuitive Insights. I am your no BS woo-woo coach, Megan McDonough, here to bring insights, tools to help you connect. This week, I'm coming at you with a deep thought, something I've been marinating on, an insight that I've been kind of percolating on, and I'm going to offer where I'm at, and I would love to hear your insights on it. I would love to hear how you ingest this information and what percolates in you from it. Okay, so I've been marinating on the idea of what is art, what is intuition, and how are they linked. So it's my firm belief that intuition and creativity are kind of one of the same coin, meaning intuition is potential creativity, creativity is kinetic intuition. And by that definition, it becomes a skill. So intuition becomes a skill that you utilize through creativity, right? And the definition of art is to have a skill that uses your imagination and creativity, usually in an art-based subject, like writing, sculpture, painting, dancing, singing, something like that. And the root of the artistry is in the curiosity. What is art but a curiosity of process? And what is intuition but connecting to that curiosity of process? So as I went down that kind of contemplative rabbit hole, I extracted and pulled out and saw, had the thought that all art is a communication and relationship to your intuitive self through a particular medium or skill, something you're passionate about, that you listen and have a relationship to your creativity and intuition to explore. And explore without knowing the answer, right? So you have to have the faith, the curiosity and faith that you're going to take a new step down an unknown path to you, maybe to others. And then there's this element in art, though, that may or may not be an intuition. This is something I'd love your input on, is I do feel art should be shared. It's meant to be shared. And when we share that individual piece to the whole, so it inspires others to connect to it themselves, as well as opens up our perception to the limitations of the mind that the intuition and imagination can press past and beyond, giving us a wider scope of connection. And the quickest, easiest way to access that is to quiet the noise, get very comfortable with the uncomfortability of silence. What is this fear of success? Because I've had like a success fear, a failure feel all my life, right? We all have it, right? And when it percolates, it's like, why am I afraid of having the thing that I was hoping to have? And once I started unpacking that, I realized the answer came forward that it was like, because maybe that's not what I want. Maybe I was wrong. Or maybe that thing won't bring me the fulfillment that I hope it will. And so what if it doesn't? If it doesn't, then what? What do I strive for? What do I driven towards? What motivates me then? Where's my inspiration? What can I do? Right? And then who am I? If I don't have dreams or desires or goals to accomplish, who am I then? And I found this profound stillness and detachment and almost like nothingness, like a void that felt so right and felt so wrong is not the right word, but like kind of like anti to my nature, you know? But the part that felt right felt grounded. It felt anchored. It didn't have any anxiety. It was detached. So then I marinated on the fact that I do like my dreams and I do like my desires and my goals. And they do serve a benefit. And so what I was feeling and contemplating was that the desires and the goals are like the fuel pushing you along the soul's journey in this life. They're not the destination, but they're the pathway. So what brings you joy, what brings you excitement isn't the destination. It's letting you know you're going in the right direction. Because that joy, that feeling that you hope for when you get the thing at the end of the day, it's never there. It's in the doing. It's in the process. It isn't the destination because it's in here. And it's the thing that moves you forward, right? It almost feels sad a little bit to like let go, but it also feels completely right because you will never find what you're seeking outside yourself. Because in my view, the energetic self, the soul self, is the impermanent self. Everything else changes. Everything else is transitory. Everything else, because of its transitory nature, cannot be relied on to provide an eternal result. And the eternal result of calm, happiness, joy consistently cannot live in a moving target, or the sustainability cannot. Right. So there's balance of maintaining as close to equilibrium and as close to connection and integration with that soul self as we can to get little tiny glimpses back and forth of that balance, that peace, that calm. And how we gain that peace and that calm, what inspires us to go towards it, is found in the path, in the doing, in the progress and the process of our dreams, goals, and desires. And so the skill of taking those dreams, goals, and desires, the vision, the feeling, and transmuting it into a form of communication or skill, that's the art of intuition. That's the art of your intuitive relationship. And when you dig into that, that's when you feel and know that we're all connected and everything else just weather, passing through. Okay, those are my deep thoughts this week. I'd love to hear what your perspective is on that, if that resonates in any way. You can find me on @MagnetizeYourLight on all socials and at magnetizeyourlight.com. If you're looking to deepen and explore this intuitive self-relationship, I wrote or put together a book of what I call spiritual sketches that came through intuitive readings, journal prompts that take you on a journey of unraveling parts of self and then kind of putting yourself all back together, filled up. You create, you explore. Because what I have found is when the intuitive answers come from you versus outside of you, they resonate deeper, they shift more, and the subtle vibration of them creates a bigger wave of change for you. So that is called Magnetize Your Light, Ignite Your Intuition, Creativity, and Purpose. And you can find it on Amazon or on my website, magnetizeyourlight.com. Okay, I'll see you next week with a magical conversation, intuitive, inspiring conversation. Have a great week. Make some magic today.